So welcome everybody to Coffee with Kelly. My name is Kelly Appleby. I'm the mental health lead for the Thames Valley District School Board, and this is Mental Health Week, as we all know. And I am here today, and it is an absolute pleasure to be able to introduce you to Holly Painter. Holly Painter is an educator in Thames Valley. She is an accomplished poet, she is a wife, she is a mother, and juggling all of those things at this crazy time of COVID-19. So thank you so much for joining me, Holly, today.
Thank you for asking me to join you.
You're welcome. So, I know you are one person and you can't necessarily speak for the masses, but that being said, you are on the front lines, like you are on the battle lines in some ways, of trying to figure out how to teach in the time of COVID-19 and a time that is so new to all of us. So I'm just wondering if you could sort of briefly share how's that going and what's that been like for you to figure out?
I think if you asked me today, it'd be one answer, and yesterday would be another answer, and maybe 2 hours from now would be another answer entirely. So it's constantly changing. I think that it is literally just adjusting every single day to new information, to family situations, new stressors, new feelings of overwhelm. So I've been really trying to take it day by day, but yeah, for me specifically, I'm an LTO at a school in Woodstock, and it just, it felt very fast when all of this started happening, and trying to take some of the knowledge, and I wouldn't say expertise, but some of the, maybe even having a Google Classroom already set up felt like I was ahead of the game a little bit, but it's just been a lot of adjustment and a lot of trying to stay connected and do the best that I can. I think that's how I've been handling it. Do the best that I can each day.
Absolutely. And a roller coaster in some ways, I'm sure.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that it really, each day is just totally different. And I think that there's times when I feel a bit more confident, or, that I've connected with a student who hasn't been logging on for a while, and that feels like a win. But a roller coaster is the perfect way to explain it, because the information changes, the expectations from myself and from others change. And you just have to, we're all along for the ride at this point.
Yeah, and what a ride on many fronts it is. Do you feel like that you've had, even like, if you could pick out like a success, like a little moment of like a success moment that sometimes we really need to hang on to at times like this? Have you had any of those moments with your students?
I think that for me, I personally and professionally through all of this, I've been trying to really look at little wins. So even something that might seem totally insignificant, and I actually felt like maybe that helps in everyday world,
Sure.
outside of all of it. But just little wins. So a student who would send a question and I'm able to answer right away, and they would respond right away and say, "Thank you, that really helped." And that would be a little win, just to know that that I helped in that moment. I did a sign-up sheet, and this was a little humbling as well, but I did a sign-up sheet to say, hey, if anybody wants to video chat, then I'll set up this time and we'll do a video chat. The humbling part of it was that only one of my students signed up for it. But also the win was that one signed up for it, and we had a really lovely chat, and it was actually less about the schoolwork and more about just maintaining the relationship that we had already built in class, and that really felt like a win. And so I've been kind of holding on to that one for a couple of weeks now.
I bet.
Really good.
Yeah, big win in some ways. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just realizing that the wins are very much in line with what I would have thought wins were in the classroom anyway, which is, feeling like I've relieved some stress in a way, feeling like I've connected in some sort of way, feeling like I've helped, and not as often kind of feeling like I really nailed the lesson, or the really nailed the Google form whatever it is they're
Right.
doing. So the wins are very relationship based.
Mm. And in terms of what you've had to do for yourself to offer yourself some grace, I suppose, in all of this, because certainly in working with educators, what I know is that every educator I've ever known takes a great deal of pride in what you do, and then all of a sudden we're like a fish out of water, and we don't maybe feel entirely competent all the time in what you're doing. Yeah. So, which makes sense for all of us in some ways. And so, what kind of grace have you had to offer yourself around that?
I think, I mean, it doesn't always feel like a benefit, but I feel in this situation, I mentioned that I'm still in the LTO journey of my the LTO part of my education journey. So I am very used to feeling like a fish out of water, jumping around, different classes, different schools, different student populations, doing a lot of lessons for the first time, dealing with different departments. So so that kind of fish out of water, always sort of questioning what I'm doing, having a lot of self-doubt, but also really looking at it that every day is just learning, and I'm just learning. I feel like that has really helped in this situation because I already sort of felt like that in the classroom a little bit anyway. And so now I'm just continuing that, where like I'm doing the best I can. Everything that flops, I learn from. And I'm just going to give myself a little leeway to realize that I'm not an expert in online learning, distance learning, but I was never really, I wasn't an expert in the classroom either. So I feel like that's helped me per se, but the way you say it in terms of giving yourself grace, I love that, because it's just sort of just giving yourself that ability to take the little wins, and to just pause and to realize that there is no perfect, because none of us have done this before in this sense. So it's impossible. It's an impossible, it's an impossible goal to set for yourself, to be perfect in this.
Yeah. And so we are, this is sort of just like a little snippet of an extended sort of more full cup of coffee conversation that we will be having, and that people can tune into. So if people watch this and they want to continue to hear about things like how you are intentionally maintaining sort of those connections and relationships with your students, wanting to hear a little bit, I want to hear a little bit about your sort of your poetry life and what that means in your life, and even how and not that you're an expert in it necessarily, but you're juggling all of your roles in your life, as many educators are out there. So would love to be able to kind of dive into that a little bit as well. So for those of you who would like to hear more, we will continue this conversation with Holly there'll be a link on tvdsb.ca /mental health, and to be continued, Holly. So thank you for joining me, and stay tuned.
Pleasure.